Indonesia, a great nation with the largest Muslim population and abundant natural resources. The market potential for halal and toyib food is growing locally and globally. Also, the need for attractive fashion products that still match Sharia values and high international quality standards. IKRA, Industri Kreatif Sharia Indonesia, is a program built to strengthen Sharia entrepreneurs in halal food, drink, and Muslim fashion through enhancing product quality and capacity. Financing access, market access, online or offline, domestic or global. Held by the Department of Economy and Sharia Finance Bank Indonesia. IKRA is expected to upgrade the quality of Sharia economy-leading products to penetrate and compete with global products in the domestic or international market. Since it was established on 11th of December 2018, now IKRA has hundreds of members across Indonesia. Sharia entrepreneurs from fashion and halal food drink sectors who share the passion and commitment to contribute to advancing the Sharia economy, especially community-based businesses that involve local people, can join IKRA. IKRA provides market outlets in and outside Indonesia with various exhibitions and business matching. IKRA's goals are to bring out reliable Sharia entrepreneurs in food and drink sectors and Muslim fashion, who put forward not only halal, but also toyib standard value, able to compete globally. This is accomplished by building an integrated ecosystem from the local halal value chain to a global halal value chain. Adapting to the digital era for easy accessibility, we run an up-to-date website, active in social media, and keep evolving in digital technology, such as upgrading the linkage between digital-based Sharia entrepreneurs. IKRA Indonesia, we move together with entrepreneurs, collaborating for prosperity, to become role models in building the Indonesia Sharia economy. IKRA, a leading halal business chain in Indonesia.
Aduh, kenapa Bim? Perut udah mulai keroncongan.
Udah, kita sholat dulu aja.
Oke.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Pak, pesanannya sesuai buat 3 orang ya. Jangan pakai lama, cepat, udah lapar.
Bimo, ayo cepet yuk.
Ayo.
Oke.
Yuk, perut udah nyanyi nih. Ayo. Yuk. Lama banget sih. Yuk.
Bimo!
Apa sih?
Astagfirullahaladzim.
Kan kita udah berdoa, lapar ini.
Ini halal nggak?
Iya Bim, pastiin dulu nih aman apa enggak. Jangan pesan-pesan aja.
Mas,
Ada yang bisa dibantu, Pak?
Maaf Pak, ini halal nggak?
Oh itu. Di sini sudah tertera logo sertifikasi halalnya kok. Jadi aman kok.
Terima kasih, selamat datang kembali. Assalamualaikum, selamat datang.
Mau cekin atas nama Abdi.
Oh iya, ini diisi dulu ya formulirnya.
Iya.
Namanya di sini, nanti check in sama check out itu tentang bawah ya.
Iya.
Terima kasih. Dan ini akses untuk masuk kamarnya.
Oke. Makasih Mbak. Ayo Bimo.
Iya. Wah, kamarnya nyaman ini.
Iya, luas juga sih. Capek banget, Bim.
Iya, habis nyetir.
Ikhlas kan tapi.
Ikhlas dong buat sahabat. Bim, sholat Bim. Oh iya, yuk.
Indonesia, a great nation with the largest Muslim population and abundant natural resources. The market potential for halal and toyib food is growing locally and globally. Also, the need for attractive fashion products that still match Sharia values and high international quality standards. IKRA, Industri Kreatif Sharia Indonesia, is a program built to strengthen Sharia entrepreneurs in halal food, drink, and Muslim fashion through enhancing product quality and capacity. Financing access, market access, online or offline, domestic or global. Held by the Department of Economy and Sharia Finance Bank Indonesia. IKRA is expected to upgrade the quality of Sharia economy-leading products to penetrate and compete with global products in the domestic or international market. Since it was established on 11th of December 2018, now IKRA has hundreds of members across Indonesia. Sharia entrepreneurs from fashion and halal food drink sectors who share the passion and commitment to contribute to advancing the Sharia economy, especially community-based businesses that involve local people, can join IKRA. IKRA provides market outlets in and outside Indonesia with various exhibitions and business matching. IKRA's goals are to bring out reliable Sharia entrepreneurs in food and drink sectors and Muslim fashion, who put forward not only halal, but also toyib standard value, able to compete globally. This is accomplished by building an integrated ecosystem from the local halal value chain to a global halal value chain. Adapting to the digital era for easy accessibility, we run an up-to-date website, active in social media, and keep evolving in digital technology, such as upgrading the linkage between digital-based Sharia entrepreneurs. IKRA Indonesia, we move together with entrepreneurs, collaborating for prosperity, to become role models in building the Indonesia Sharia economy. IKRA, a leading halal business chain in Indonesia.
Aduh,
Kenapa, Bin?
perut udah mulai keroncongan.
Udah, kita sholat dulu aja.
Oke?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi
Pak, pesanannya sesuai buat 3 orang ya. Jangan pakai lama, cepat, udah lapar.
Bimo, ayo cepet yuk.
Oke. Yuk, perut udah nyanyi nih. Ayo. Yuk. Lama banget sih. Yuk.
Bimo!
Apa sih?
Astagfirullahaladzim.
Kan kita udah berdoa, lapar ini.
Ini halal nggak?
Iya, Bim. Pastiin dulu nih aman apa enggak. Jamin pesan-pesan aja.
Mas,
Ada yang bisa dibantu, Pak?
Maaf Pak, ini halal nggak?
Oh, itu. Di sini sudah tertera logo sertifikasi halalnya kok. Jadi aman kok.
Alhamdulillah.
Assalamualaikum. Selamat datang.
Mau cekin atas nama Abdi.
Oh iya. Ini diisi dulu ya formulirnya.
Iya.
Namanya di sini, nanti check in sama check out minta tambah ya.
Iya.
Terima kasih. Dan ini akses untuk masuk kamarnya.
Oke. Makasih, Mbak. Ayo, Bimo.
Iya, yuk. Wah, kamarnya nyaman ini.
Iya, luas juga sih. Capek banget, Bim.
Iya, habis nyetir.
Ikhlas kan tapi.
Ikhlas dong buat sahabat. Bim, sholat Bim. Oh iya, yuk.
Kebetulan ini hari libur, kayaknya bisa bicara foto kita kali ya.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, selamat pagi dan salam sejahtera. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to welcome you to INHALIFE Business Forum 2020. Our topic today is Halal Lifestyle Solution for Global Economy Revival. It is such a great pleasure and honor for me, Randy Wicaksana, to be able to be your host and moderator for today's discussions. Daily, I work as a journalist, producer, and also presenter for Voice of America Indonesian Service and news media organizations. So you know what I do? I produce news. And the latest news that I cover, you name it. It's all about COVID-19, the pandemic. It's all about how it impacts our life and how devastating it is for the past 8 months, particularly for Indonesia. And today, we will have the privilege to take a listen from different point of views on how this also impacts different sectors, and will halal lifestyle can be the solutions to revive the economy, both nationally and also globally. Our speakers today are coming from 3 different backgrounds, from the hospitality industries, from business management and consultant, also from the perspective of halal science. So this is going to be a really interesting discussions, and we will encourage you to remain with us until the very end of the sessions. Before we proceed, allow me to firstly say hi and greet our speakers who are also joining us today. Allow me to say hi firstly. A very good morning to Pak Sapta Nirwandar. He is the chairman of Indonesia Halal Lifestyle Center and Indonesia Tourism Forum. Pagi, Pak. Also, allow me to say pagi, Pak. Also, welcome to Pak Adi Satria, the Vice President Sales Marketing. Yes. Thank you very much. I'm good, sir. The second one is Pak Adi Satria, Vice President Sales Marketing, Loyalty and Distribution Accor Group Indonesia, Malaysia,
Not
and
only
also
good, you look
Singapore.
also great.
I'm sorry, sir?
Not only good, you look great.
Thank you very much. You also look incredible in your batik. We're both wearing batik today. Also, allow me, sir, now to also say welcome and hi to our guest who is currently in Sydney, Australia. He is Mr. Irshad Akadir, the CEO of Global Think. A very good day to you, sir.
Good day to you too. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum,
Wa
doctor,
alaikum
and my fellow teammates.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, brother.
Thank you.
Okay, and last but not the very least, he also will be joining us later today. He is the Halal Professor, Professor Dr. Irwandi Jasur, MSc, Secretary Council of Professors, International Islamic University, Malaysia. Thank you, gentlemen. We will see you again in a bit. But now allow me to firstly remind our audiences that today's discussions will be using English as its main language. But don't worry, because we also provide you with a translation service. If you are currently watching this through the Zoom applications, all you have to do is just click the globe icon underneath your screen, and you can pick whether or not you need translation from Indonesian to English or the vice versa. Bapak, Ibu, dan para penonton semuanya, kami ucapkan terima kasih sudah bergabung bersama kami. Jika Anda membutuhkan bantuan penerjemahan, Anda bisa mengklik ikon globe yang ada di layar screen Zoom Anda, dan nanti Anda bisa memilih apakah Anda butuh penerjemahan dari bahasa Inggris ke Indonesia atau sebaliknya. Also, ladies and gentlemen, we will also encourage you to participate in interactive question and answer sessions with each of our speakers today. If you think you already know what you are going to ask, just register yourself right away on the chat box. Let our committee knows if you are willing to be displayed on our screen and have an interactions with our speakers later on. Also, we will have prize for the 10 best questions asked. And the first 100 audiences that joining will also get interesting prizes from us. So, before we start, Let us hear the recitation of a Holy Al-Quran recited by Hamas Sahid Izzuddin.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الرجال قوامون على النساء بما فضل الله بعضهم على بعض وبما أنفقوا من أموالهم فالصالحات قانتات حافظات للغيب بما حفظ الله واللاتي تخافون نشوزهن فعظوهن واهجروهن في المضاجع واضربوهن فإن أطعنكم فلا تبغون عليهن سبيلا إن الله كان عليا كبيرا صدق الله العظيم.
Ladies and gentlemen, now we would like to welcome our very first welcoming speech. Allow me to introduce you the chairman of Indonesia Halal Lifestyle Center and Indonesia Tourism Forum. This is Pak Sapta Nirwandar.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah hazan hada wa ma kunna linahtadi an Allah. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. Allahumma shalli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali sayyidina Muhammad amma ba'du. First of all, I would like to thank Randy to the nice introduction this morning. You not look good, but look great and smiling faces. I think that's very good. That's starting with the sunshine of our life. Thank you also. I would like to address to my friend, Irsad Kadir from far away from Australia, from Sydney. Good morning. Welcome to this seminar in INHALIFE Business Forum, Irsad. And then also I would like to welcome my best friend, Pak Adi. He's the Vice President of Marketing for Malaysia, Indonesia, of course, and also Singapore. Thank you, Pak Adi, for joining this conference. I think this conference will be one of the important conference during this pandemic era. And of course, we'll join later on our friend also, Prof. Irwandi. He's one of the important and reputed scientists in Islamic research, and many of head of him, Pak Irwandi. They will join us later on. And of course, our participant, not only Indonesia, also global. Thanks for joining in this seminar, especially for Indonesia, despite also this long weekend, but I have a report still many of participants joining this conference. This conference, of course, is part of the Indonesia Syariah Economic Festival organized by Bank Indonesia in collaborating with IHLC. And also what we call the long cooperation between IASA and Bank Indonesia. Thank you for Bank Indonesia to give a trust and also the what we call the confidence to IASA to organize this conference with our friends globally. Despite the pandemic, I think we cannot stop us to bring benefit, then to the community, global community, to the universe, because Islam is rahmatan lil alamin. Islam also, despite the warning, we will find also the solution. In this challenging situation, we have to go back to our guidance, Al-Quran and Hadith. Learning from Al-Quran and Hadith is more than just Aqidah or faith. Allah is accompanied us with a very comprehensive guidance, including lifestyle that we call halal lifestyle. Then halal lifestyle is not only just faith and lawful, but also impacted to our social and economic life. Halal lifestyle is living halal industry also, an industry that might be way bigger than we thought it is. Halal industry cannot absorb but Muslim and any other market, but not vice versa. A company is not providing halal option to their customer can have a potential loss. You can see because now the pressure from Muslim consumer also tremendous. That any company done things about the halal product and services, they will have the potential loss. Indonesia Halal Economy Strategy Roadmap 2018-2019 has mentioned also how big the span of Indonesian Muslim to cross of the sector of halal lifestyle. Such, of course, food is the biggest one. There's also cosmetic. We have also halal tourism, media recreation, and etc. Before this pandemic, we have spent more than $218 billion, and the projected growth about 330 million in 2025. You can see in the figures, there's the biggest spend is in the food industry, and following to the other industries such banks and also cosmetic and of course media recreation, etc. While the post-COVID data shown some sectors, especially like tourism, got the most impacted, and food sector is the least impacted. Anyway, the number of spending and the potential of our industry is still big for us to win. We cannot deny that for some people, this pandemic is a blessing disguised. It's always about our choice, what we have to do, collaborate and work together, revive and renew our business mindsets. That's why even in halal industry is not immune impacted by this COVID-19. Indonesia is the number of one halal food importing country in the world, in this world, should take advantage of this moment. The situation should be solid starting point for Indonesia to fulfill our domestic halal food demand. And furthermore, is also to export our halal food product. This is in line with the statement our Vice President of Indonesia recently, I think last week, Indonesia had to strengthen our commitment about halal industry that aims Indonesia to become the center of halal producer country in the world in 2024. I hope this event is one of the cause for Indonesia successful in 2024. You can see the potential of a halal industry in this diagram on these graphics. You know, the integrated halal ecosystem must be one strong policy for the government. Yeah, many sectors related with the ecosystem, special services, education, production, infrastructure, and of course, the important things, this is the literacy. How the Indonesian population recognize that halal industry not only lawful, but there is impact or beneficial for their life, for their economy. In the last few months, the good news coming from policymaker Indonesia that now SME can get free halal certification. We do hope this can be implemented soon. For their product, alhamdulillah, this could be a breath of fresh air in halal industry because certification is, and literacy of halal is the key for the halal industry ecosystem. This also supported by the merger of three, they will supported by merger of three bank Syariah Indonesia, Bank Mandiri, Syariah, Bank BRI, and become a big bank Syariah Indonesia. This merger can spread more benefit and strengthen the Islamic finance through Syariah banking as the part of the halal lifestyle industry. My friend, speaker, and distinguished participant, today I think we started already to introducing our three eminent speakers, and of course, honor for me, and also on behalf of the Indonesia Halal Access Center again, to thanks to our friend speaker who's joining this very interesting conference with our business forum. May Allah grant us with big reward for you. As always, I would like to thank all the men behind the business forum, especially Pak Anwar, Budiana, Bu Mega, from Bank Indonesia and his team, and also from Indonesia Halal Lifestyle. I would like to thank Bu Tila, Bu Tanti, Bobby, and also Rifa, and and also our INHALIFE team, and lovely PCO who makes this event successfully organized. Finally, please enjoy this business forum. And last but not least, of course, I would like to thank the very energetic and important moderator is Randy Wijaksono. I hope everyone will get inspired by this forum, by this business forum. I will end my welcome speech with 7 WW. This is more than Google. Wabillahi taufiq, wal hidayah, wal afiat, wa syukurillah, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The state I will give back to you, Randy. Thank you. Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We thank you very much, Pak Sabta, and also for your kind compliment at the very start of your speech. You also look great, by the way, in your brown batik, and you look really fresh this morning. And also thank you for your welcoming remarks. That also indicates that now we are going to enter our main course agenda, ladies and gentlemen, which is the discussion sessions. Let me explain to you a bit that we will have 3 different speakers today, and we will allow audience to also participate in questioning or giving out questions to our speakers in each of the speakers' sessions. So each speakers will have the opportunity to interact with the audiences interactively, or some questions will be also read by me. So if you wish to participate, just register yourself right away, or you can simply also put your name on the chat box with the following format. Write down your name, underscore the panelist name, underscore your questions. Once again, if you would like to give out questions to any of our speakers, write down your name on the chat box. Once again, the format is, on the chat box, write down your name, underscore the panelist name, underscore your questions. Also, I remind you that there will be prize for the best 10 questions asked today. At the very end, we will announce, so ensure you will be with us until the very end of the sessions. So allow me to introduce our very first speaker of today. He has had around 20 years of experience in hospitality industry. And according to his LinkedIn page that I picked last night, he has worked for Accor Group for almost 12 years now. So he's really experienced in the hospitality industry. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you the Vice President Sales Marketing, Loyalty and Distribution Accor Group Indonesia, Malaysia and Singapore. This is Pak Adi Satria. Pak Adi will talk about tourism business recover after economic crisis. Assalamualaikum, Pak Adi. Selamat pagi, Pak. Bagaimana kabarnya, sehat? Kita masih cek audionya Bapak terlebih dahulu. Mungkin boleh dicek apakah di layar Bapak masih di mute audio Bapak. Kami belum mendengar audio Bapak nih. Kita cek lagi ya. Selamat pagi. Masih belum ada, teman-teman teknisi masih memperbaiki isu tersebut. A bit about Pak Adi. Pak Adi, would you mind to check your audio button on your Zoom screen? Probably it's still muted on your end. Let us check once again. A very good morning, Pak Adi. Okay, seems like we still have troubles on this end. Okay, may we ask you to probably unplug your earphone from your device? Unplug it from your laptop, sir. Boleh dicopot terlebih dahulu dari laptopnya, mungkin itu yang menjadi problem. Dari kita sudah di-unmute, mungkin dari Bapak boleh dicabut earphone-nya dari laptop Bapak. Oke, kita tes lagi. Selamat pagi. Masih belum muncul juga audionya. Baik. Sambil kita coba perbaiki, Pak Adi ini sekarang bekerja di Accor. He is working for Accor for almost 12 years now. And he is really experienced in the hospitality industry, ladies and gentlemen. And we will find out how, the hospitality industry is striving amidst the pandemic. Boleh kita coba lagi? Boleh Bapak coba klik audio setting di Zoom screen Bapak. Sudah katanya. Okay, we're still trying to fix this issue, this technical issues that mohon maklum Bapak Ibu sekalian ya. Probably we can proceed to our second speaker first. Okay, Pak Adi. We will take a look at this technical issues. We apologize for the inconvenience, ladies and gentlemen, but we still have our second speakers. We will go back to Pak Adi after this. But now, allow me to introduce you our second speaker of today. He is very experienced in business consultant. He is currently in Sydney, Australia, and the CEO of Global Think. Please welcome, this is Mr. Irsyad Akadir. Assalamualaikum, Mr. Irsyad.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you really clearly.
Beautiful,
So,
beautiful.
ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kadir has 28 years of experience in business management, marketing, and also human resources. So my question, a brief one you can answer, sir. With such vast experience, seeing today's circumstances, the pandemic and all, are you optimistic that the economy can be revived?
Yes, inshallah, it's pretty soon, and we are just halfway through of the pandemic. We all expect vaccination to be introduced by mid next year, and things will be under control, inshallah.
Inshallah, inshallah. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we will allow Mr. Irsyad Nakadir to have his presentation. He will talk about marketing strategies for SMEs in the post-COVID era, and particularly how to grab UAE market. This will be interesting. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Reddy. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad. Kama sallayta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Qala rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Let me first of all thank Almighty Allah for giving me the opportunity to be with you around today. Second, I should say a big thank you to my beloved Dr. Sapta, who is the chairman of Indonesia Halal Lifestyle Center and Indonesia Tourism Forum. And also I should thank his team, an efficient team, the Halal Lifestyle Center in Indonesia. Also, I should thank the ISEF organizing committee, plus the officials of Bank Indonesia. Thank you very much for inviting me for this year as well. Subhanallah, the things have changed. Last year by this time, I was in Jakarta attending the same conference, the 6th ISF festival. I was speaking in front of the audience. Today, I've been talking to you all through a virtual world. And things have changed. Things have changed. So let's look at how best we can move forward in this time of difficulties, and we'll see how best we can achieve what we wanted to achieve. As Dr. Sapta said in his beautiful presentation, that in year 2034, of course, Indonesia wants to be in the top in the list of global halal economy. Inshallah, you guys can. There's no. We'll move on with my slides and we can go one by one. Yes, please. Next. Thank you. If you really look at the slide, this has been basically 2018 and 2019. If you really look at the first part of it on your left, it says the position of Indonesia in the halal world, halal economy world. Thank you for enlarging it. Thank you. So it's Indonesia in the 10th place, you may have noticed. And also if you really look at the halal finance sector, we are in the 10th place. And also halal travel, if you look at it, it's in the 4th place, but not 4th place. We are actually number 1, par with Malaysia. I'll come to that in the next slide. And also, if you look at the modest fashion industry, we are number 2 next to UAE. So this was last year's slide. Last year, according to the State of Islamic Economy report published by Thomson Reuters. Let's go to the next slide, please. Next. Thank you. So the next slide shows how strong we have been in the halal travel and tourism industry. We have been number 1, par with Malaysia. Good. So next slide, please. So if you really look at the situation now, it's post-COVID era. We are in the middle of the crisis. I'm sure we are coming to an end, as Reddy asked me towards the beginning. So let's look at the first one. So what is post-COVID era going to look like for businesses? Number one, it's going to be the world before COVID-19 will not be the same again. We need to understand that. It's not going to be the same as we have been enjoying our businesses pre-COVID era. So it has been changed. Now we are in a new era of new reality. So it's called new norm. Next. There is a shift in the global business balance of power and a new world order. You may have noticed now the business war between the US and the China. So who is going to be leading the world economy? It's a big question mark. And it's going to be a new global balance of power when it comes to economy as well. So this COVID has created that atmosphere at this point of time. Next. The rapid acceleration in embracing technology across industries. It doesn't matter which industry you are in. The technology has gone into each and every segment or any industry that you are in. So this is the new normal for us in this post-COVID era situation. Next.
Kalian bisa dengar suara saya?
Next. Yes, thank you. So countries will focus on self-sufficiency in supply. This is the biggest advantage that I see in this situation. I recall a Chinese proverb, when there's a crisis, there's an opportunity. Likewise, when you look at the current situation, the countries will focus on self-sufficiency. We don't want to rely only on China, for an example. That is happening now. I'm glad to see that Indonesia is offering incentives for manufacturing companies to come into Indonesia, because people are now, the big industry owners have felt that they should not be relying only on one particular supply source for their production. So they're expanding. So this is one of the situations that we are facing currently, and this is a big opportunity for Indonesia as well. Next. Then ways to work will be different. Now there's a new culture is emerging, whether you are an SME or you are a large business organization, there's a new work culture, work from home culture. It's a new culture is embedded into our business world, whether we like it or not. It has its own pros and cons, depends on the industry that you are in. Next. Yes, new opportunities for SMEs and startups. This is a great time for you if you are an SME to think in a broader picture, how best you can find new opportunities, where you can find the niche, the new startups. There are so many new startups have come into this era, in this situation. The new startups are being really mushrooming, we can see around the globe. So there's a good opportunity for startups in Indonesia as well. Next. All right, so how the impact is going to be? Immediate impact of this post-COVID. Number one is social distancing. Whether we like it or not, it's going to be there for some time. Even after we discover vaccines, it's going to be there for some time. People are going to be health conscious, hygiene conscious, and also they'll be maintaining social distancing as well. Next. Also, we see many people have lost their jobs, especially the airline industry, especially when you look at Qantas, redundant 3,000 employees overnight, then Virgin Australia, I'm sure many other airlines as well, even Emirates had to send so many staff home. So this is another dilemma that we have been going through in this immediate impact period, where so many job losses. Next. Of course, unemployment. Yeah, next. Sorry, it was not job losses. Of course, the first one is, of course, I read it as job losses. Of course, the business losses. There's so many companies lost, of course, the market share, and also they had to close down their businesses around the globe. Not only in one country, in many countries, SMEs to large companies, they had to shut their businesses due to the immediate impact of COVID. Of course, the poverty has increased. Next. Of course, the mental well-being, it is a big issue in everywhere. In wherever you travel, you see that mental well-being, of course, they're going through depression mode, a lot of stress-related issues, it's been on the increase due to this COVID pandemic. Next. We can also see the consumers, a shift in the consumers' mood. They're now more into savings because they want to save. They don't know the uncertainty, what's going to happen in the future. So some countries are facing second, third wave of this pandemic. So people are really want to save money. Next. Let's look at the customer behavior. Number one, customers will be spending only on their basic needs. This we had to understand. Whether you're SME or you are an SME or a large organization, there are always an impact from your consumer. That, I mean, if you really look at the consumer behavior in this period of time, where they are basically looking only spending on their basic needs. They're thinking twice actually before they spend on the luxury or their wants. Next. Customers will expect convenience and new experiences. This we had to understand. Being a business owner, you need to understand the customers are now spoiled, in other words, my own word, because now they look for things to be delivered to their doorstep. It's convenience based. So whether you are a traditional businessman, you see that, yes, my customers are the same. No, they have changed. No, from food to electronics, to their fashion, or even to their medicines, they would love to be delivered to their doorstep. So the customers are changing. Next. Customers will look for easy payment methods. This is another new trend. You have to understand. Customers they don't want to handle cash anymore. They want to go from cash to cashless mode. They like to go tap and go. Even cardless payments like e-wallets are coming in. So if you are in a business, if you are in any kind of business, right? So you have to think all this. Consumer behavior is changing. Are you prepared for it? This is the question to answer. Next. And also customers will move on to the saving mode, as we discussed before. So they like to save. They want to save. So they like to look for saving special offers in the market. They like to see buy one, get one free. They like to see 40% off, 50% off. This is the mode the consumers are now. Next. Local and overseas holiday business travel will be limited. Of course, Sydney airports or Australian airports are closed. We cannot go overseas, except you get the repatriation flights coming in. Likewise, even in Malaysia, even Indonesia, still the situation is same. So we will have this issue for some time, as we rightly mentioned at the beginning of this session. So until things get back to normal, any businesses related to travel and tourism, and it's going to be affected. So we have to see how the consumers are going to behave in this part of the time. All right, next. Right. Also shift from traditional shopping to online. This is something that I need to stress. Even if you are an SME or a large organization, if you are really sticking to your good olden type, the way you do business in the past, you have to think twice now. You have to go online. It's a must, whether you like it or not. Digitalization is coming into your business. Already it's gone in. It has been happening in the past, but COVID-19 has accelerated it. Therefore, there's no choice for you unless otherwise you embrace it. If not, the customers will go away from you pretty fast. Next. Right. So I like to remind an important quote here mentioned by Malcolm X. He stated, "The future belongs to those who prepare for it today." So we need to change. We need to prepare now. We need to prepare for tomorrow. If you don't, that means you will not be able to sustain in the future business world. Next. All right. So I'll give you a simple model here, which is business change management process. So every business has to go through these three phases in order to change for better, because we are now in the mid of COVID. So we will be anyway going, the COVID will be anyway going away from us sooner or later. Then we'll be seeing a new normal. Already we are seeing the new normal, but are we ready for it? Have you prepared for it? So the first one is current state. Yes, pre-COVID period is not going to come again. So the next one is going to be a transition state. Yeah. So transition state is where we are now. If you can click once again, gentlemen, twice. Another one. Once more. Great. So if you really look at the middle circle, it's called transition state, where we are now, right? So we are basically, we just coming out of COVID, but we're still in the COVID. So now the time for you to get yourself prepared for it, how to face the post-COVID era. We will come to that later. So you have three phases. So you had it before COVID, that was current state. Now you are in the transition and we are going to the future state. Let's look at the next slide, how it's going to talk. Next. All right. First, the tips for action. Let me give you a couple of tips, what you should be doing. First, to embrace the change, you have to have the ready mindset. It is important. Don't be stuck and don't be saying that, no, I have been doing, my parents were doing this business, I have been doing this for ages, I don't need to change. No, you have to have your mindset ready for change. Next. Revisit your business, do a SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis will give you where you are now, like you are taking an X-ray report or a CT scan or a MRI scan. That means that it will give you where your business is currently and which state it's currently, and also how it looks like. Next, please. So this is a SWOT analysis. If you really look at it, it's easy. You can do it with your team. So you write down what are your strengths. Your strengths now may not be the strengths that you had in the past. Maybe you would have thought pre-COVID, these were my strengths. Now, that's not going to be the strength anymore. Your financial status may not be the same now. And look at your weaknesses. Go through it and list it down. And threats. What are the challenges you have in the future, right? And what are the opportunities you have? Look for this. So do this exercise with your team. This is something very important, gentlemen. You need to do for every business that you are in, so that it will give you a snapshot of your status of your business. Next. Right. The next. So we did the SWOT analysis. We changed our mindset. Second, we came to the SWOT analysis. Third, adopting the technology at the earliest. So early adopters will always win. This is the graph it shows. So you have to adapt to the technology at the earliest. You don't need to digitalize the entire organization at once. Look at, prioritize it. It could be the first one, could be the marketing department. Digitization, right? Do you have a marketing team which is capable of handling digital marketing? So these are the questions you have to ask for. Next. Conduct market research on potential markets for your products. Look out. There are a lot of opportunities out there. Don't be negative. To conduct your market research and look for opportunities, not only in Indonesia, even overseas as well. Next. Look at the options for creating multiple income sources. Don't rely on only one income source for you. Establish, create, develop multiple income sources for you. This is very important. This COVID pandemic has taught a big lesson for all businesses, that they have to either diversify or they have to have multiple income sources. Next. Then also upskill your staff and yourself. You have to update yourself. You can't say that I don't know about digital marketing. Do a crash course. Do a 1 week, 2 weeks. There's so many courses, or even online you can do it. Understand what is this digitization means, what this digital marketing means, what the new logistics going to be, what is the new payment system is going to be. Unless otherwise you upskill yourself or reskill yourself, you cannot survive in the post-COVID era. Next. So first preparation, that the questions that you had to ask, please remember this. Can I revisit the core product or service offering? You have to think. You have to think, what am I offering now to the world? Will it last even in the post-COVID? Or do I need to modify my products or services? Can I develop something new? This is something that you have to keep in mind. It's a checklist for you guys. Next. Next. Yes. Have I got a digital marketing team? It is a must, gentlemen. It's a must. Social media, content writing, search engine optimization, these things are must, whether you are an SME or a large organization. So please think about it. Next. Have I got a dynamic website for my business? This is very, very important. If you want to be in this world or post-COVID world, your website should be the first one to be attended. Because I know so many websites are there, just an informative catalog, just only to provide information. Now it has to be an interactive one. You have to hire somebody to do it for you, or somebody will do it for you, but it also has to have your business dealing as well. Make sure the picture quality is good. All right, the content is right. There's no mistakes there. Where the payment gateway is there for you. So the website is a must for any of your businesses. Next. Have I prepared with an e-brochure for my business? This is important. Now the paper brochures are not. It's getting faded. So you need electronic brochures. In order to produce electronic brochures, you cannot just take pictures of your products with your mobile phone. It's not going to work. You are going to be, the market is opened up. Globally, you are going to sell your products and services. Therefore, it has to be high quality pictures. The pixels should be good. The writing, the formats, everything should be good. So your e-brochure for your products and services, if you want to go abroad or even locally, you have to think very carefully. Next. Yes, am I ready with the payment gateway? Another question to ask. Can the customers pay easily? Do they have PayPal facility? Or I'm sure banks in Indonesia will be accepting online payments. They'll be providing information or facilities for the businesses. So you have to look for it and see how best easy for the customers to pay for your products and services they purchase from you. Make it easy. The customers are lazy now. They want everything easy. So make sure that your payment gateway is well installed and working. Next. Also, can my logistics team effectively manage the logistics chain? Of course, now e-commerce platforms. Do you have a good logistics team with you? Ask this question, whether they can dispatch it on time, or if not, you can find alternative methods. You have contractors, you have drop shippers. Think out of the box. I'm sure you'll be able to find solution for a very effective distribution network for your own products and services. Next. Right. Have I done the market research on the new market opportunities? As I mentioned earlier, have I done market research on overseas markets? Let me give you a quick introduction to a new market opportunity that you guys have. Go ahead, please. Next. Here we go. Business opportunities in the UAE. This is something where you have a golden opportunity for you to pitch your products and services. Next. Here we go. Why we say UAE? Next. Yes, it's favorable tax environment, educated workforce, access to financial and natural resources, and trading opportunities. It is something, a fantastic platform for you to pitch your products and services. Now, the right time for you to get ready to pitch for UAE market, where it is not limited to UAE. I'll come to that in the next point. Next. Yes, its central location. If you really look at the geographical map, you can see it's a central location. It's a hub, and it's not. You are not going to cater to only 10 million people in the UAE. You are going to face 1 billion potential customers, and that's the location, UAE, where you have so many buyers around the globe. They have their buying offices. The moment you get into UAE, your potential is opened up, where you can access to any part of the world. So it is said 1 billion potential customers, you can reach out to 1 billion customers if you can pitch to the UAE market. Next. UAE has developed a mature e-commerce market. This is the first, it's an easy way to get into this market. right? Smartphones are, of course, in the commonplace, and internet penetration amongst the highest in the world. You have to remember that. Next. So UAE's rapid growth and developed economy markets makes it a top contender for you, your next export market. They have 6 airports and 10 major shipping ports. What more you want? Being a tiny country which has all the facilities for you to pitch your products and services and then to reach out to the rest of the world. Don't miss this opportunity. Be prepared now for you to get into this market sooner than later. Next. So the trade pact between, this is important. When I did some research and when I contacted a few, the trade pact between both countries, Indonesia and the UAE. So they signed 11 agreements and 5 MOUs recently. Of course, the both leaders, both country leaders, of course, they visited each other. And this is a great opportunity for you, all right? If you are in the health industry or education, agriculture, or food diversification, all these are in their contract. So you will have special arrangements if you are exporting to the UAE market. So try to capitalize this. This is something very important. Next. Right, so how to capture these lucrative market opportunities? Let me give you some tips. Number 1, please, go ahead. Right, so the links and resources, you may take some notes, but this is something it will be helpful for you to find more about the opportunities in the UAE. Next. Number 1, so you can access Abu Dhabi Chamber of Commerce and Industry, where you find so much information. And if you want to get into this market, what needs to be done? Next. So this is another one, Sharjah Chamber of Commerce and Industry. You can access to their website and you can get more information as well. Next. UAE Federal e-Government, they have e-Government facility. You can do everything online. So you can get into their websites. So you get more information about how and where you can find your buyers as well. Next. Then the UAE Ministry of Finance and Dubai Customs. These are very useful websites for you to go. So Ministry of Finance, also Dubai Customs. If you want to sell your food, range of food, then what sort of packaging you need, what are the certifications you need. I'm sure BP, JPH, your halal certification, they can also provide you more information about it. Also, they have been very strict about the packaging because of the heat. Of course, in the zone, in that area, that you need, your packaging should be well developed, your finishing, your print, all these things matter. So you can access Dubai Customs to get more information. Next. Also, the commercial attaché of Indonesia and the UAE, I'm sure they will help you out. You contact your commercial attaché in Indonesia, in the UAE for you to get some more information if you really want to. They will provide you the list of companies that you can approach the same sector that you are in. Next. So the commercial attaché of the UAE in Indonesia, if you want, you can contact the UAE embassy in Indonesia. I'm sure it's in Jakarta. You can talk to the commercial attaché, and they will provide you more information about similar industries, similar organizations that you wanted to be in touch with. I'm sure this will help you to get more information about how you can get into the UAE market. Next. Right, let's look at the business opportunities in the UAE during this post-COVID era. Number 1, these are the industries thriving now. Go ahead. Next. Number 1 is e-commerce. So FMCG, fashion, fashion accessories, electronics, and women apparel, basically it's booming. The sales have grown 4 or 5 times in this period, but it's through e-commerce. If you are in this segment, if you are manufacturing, or if you are in one of these segments, there's an opportunity for you in the UAE market. Next. Yes, then also remote working technology. If you are involved in developing technology, especially like, we are on Zoom now, so develop of remote working platforms. This industry also had been taken a huge growth because so many businesses out there. small to small, medium, and even large organizations. Officers are there. They are looking for these sort of platforms in the UAE. It's a good opportunity for you guys if you are in that industry. Yeah, next. So also automation. Companies are looking for low cost, flexible automation solutions to replace human beings. So this is everywhere, but especially in the UAE, it's a labor intense workforce. So they're looking for automation. So if somebody is in that industry, there is a huge opportunity for you to present yourself. Next. Also online grocery stores, it's mushrooming. So online sales for grocery items have seen a drastic rise in orders in current time. So this is another opportunity. I'll tell you one thing, online grocery stores, if you're in the food, FMCG sector, right time to get into this. So the moment your product is listed in these famous e-commerce platforms, the buyers, the buying officers in the UAE, they'll spot your product and they will contact you. So there's a great opportunity for you. Right, next. Also cloud kitchens, it is another concept that they have. It's really doing well. So a concept referred to as e-commerce for food. So they have big kitchens and they will deliver to you, but there's no restaurant. So it's delivering food to home. So you can supply for surely Asian ingredients where you are, food ingredients that you are selling. Please, you have an opportunity there. Next. Great. So if you look at, I have listed out a couple of important e-commerce platforms. You can directly contact them, access their websites. I'm sure you can. I checked, and they are more than they are giving us, you as producers, opportunities for you to contact them. All right. So that directly you can contact. Number one is Souk. Souk.com is very famous in the Middle East, especially in the UAE. It was bought by Amazon. So still they're existing, and there's number one. Also, you have owners. They are more into, if you really look at it, apparels, also accessories. Then Amazon itself is there for you for all the electronics and other range. Also, you have, if you are into Test Tango, that's for apparels again. So I know for sure the Indonesian market is famous for apparels as well. You are doing a wonderful job in modest fashion industry. I'm sure why not? You can still tap to them. Next, please. Also, there are top e-commerce sites in the Middle East and UAE. I'll give you 4. If you can reach out to them, it'll be fantastic. Please, next. So it's called Jolly Chick. So this is best for clothing, beauty products, electronics, home and living, and sports. So if you are into clothing, Jolly Chick is another e-commerce platform for you to reach out to. So don't miss these opportunities, ladies and gentlemen. If you are in this industry, please approach them right away. But you should be prepared before you're doing that. Right, next. The other one is Mom's World, of course, best for moms, babies, and kids producers. So if you are in this segment, this is the place to go. So these are one of the popular sites that you can approach. Next. Of course, Noon.com, which is famous in Saudi Arabia as well. I was in Saudi for some time, and Noon is being very well received and still having the reputation. So best for an assortment of products, including fashion, electronics, home and kitchen, and beauty. So if you are in the beauty, even if you are producing cosmetics, you can, based on, of course, you have to have the right standards that you can take this to the Middle East and the rest of the world, of course. Next. Okay, you have Sharaf DG. This is best for computers, mobile gadgets, electronics, home appliances, and personal care. So these are 4, in addition to what I showed you previous slide, where you can approach directly and get yourself listed, provided your product quality, your service, your pricing, all in place. So we'll come to that in a moment. Next. Next. All right, so if you want to be successful, what marketing strategies that you need to be adopting? Number 1, go ahead, please. Next. Product strategy. Okay. So product strategy, what do you mean by product strategy? Product strategy means innovation. You cannot stick to one. You have to change because the consumers are changing. Quality of your product. Halal certification if it's required, if you are sending it to overseas, especially for the Middle East. Packaging, is it good enough, right? And also finishing and final offer, the finish of your product. Is it presentable? Also benchmark with the regional and global brands. If you are into a toothpaste, for an example, look at the global brands. Look at the brand of Unilever's, the big multinationals, and see whether you can match, right? No need to copy and paste, but at least you should look at how we can benchmark it in order to capture the global platform. Next, that's your product strategy. So now the pricing strategy. Don't be greedy. Look at the market price, what they are asking, your competitors are asking for the same product, and then you price it accordingly. You know, local pricing would be different to overseas pricing for sure, but you have to do your proper market research. And online pricing is always basically cheap. So make sure that where you can have the correct pricing for your product. The pricing can kill your product. Therefore, make sure the right pricing can bring you results. Next. Of course, the place distribution strategy. So the logistics and warehouse, local and abroad. If you want to go abroad, even local, but of course abroad, your logistics is very important, as I mentioned. Revisit. When you do your SWOT analysis, look at your warehouse facilities. Look at your strength, the staff who are doing documentation, export and import documentation. Are they capable of doing it, right? And on-time delivery is important when it comes to online platforms. So can you do that? So these are the strategies that you have to think of. Next. Next, please. Right. So the next one is the promotional strategy. So do you have a digital marketing team? So digital marketing team is a must. You don't need to have 3, 4, or 5. It depends on the size of the business though. You can even have one person who is really capable of handling your digital marketing unit under your traditional marketing department. This is important. So development of a website, as I mentioned earlier, is so important. Priority number 1. If you can develop an app for mobile phone app, it's something added value for you. So try to invest some money on that as well, because you can develop app for even reasonable prices now. There are so many out there you can outsource and get a user-friendly app for your products and services. Also, content writers in your department is somewhat important. Who is going to write what? And what is your core value of your products and services? This has to be communicated to the changing consumers, something very important. And also try to be in the international magazines. Of course, before that, social media platforms, very important. Of course, Facebook and IG, targeted campaigns, you can do that. Facebook can go straight to the target market that you can talk to, even in the Middle East or any part of the world that you have this product and services for offer. Of course, international magazines and global halal websites, take part in it, register it, subscribe it, talk about your product. Talk about your product. People will be looking at it and there'll be inquiries coming to you very soon. Next. Here we go. Indonesia had, of course, given birth to many global brands. Go ahead. Next. One is GoTech, of course, Traveloka. Of course, Tokopedia is there. Yes, Bukalapak. Next. Indofood, very famous around the world. Of course, Varda, the cosmetics. So these are the brands. At this point of time, it's gone big. Once upon a time, these brands were small, and they were maybe even like an SME. But now the global brand and the regional brands, you can do it as well. If SMEs are watching now, please think big and broad. You can be successful. And if you can do a proper strategy with you, especially the marketing strategy is so important. And as I mentioned to you earlier, do your checklist, do your homework, do the market research. And I gave you all the links. I'm sure this has been recorded. You can go back, play it, and see how best you can expand your businesses to the rest of the world. May Almighty Allah accept your efforts and give a lot of barakah. And also let me thank Dr. Sapta for giving me the opportunity, and the entire team, the technical team who is working behind around the clock. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And also Halal Lifestyle Center, the team, wonderful, and may Allah accept. And also, at last but not the least, the officials of Bank Indonesia for organizing this. And thank you very much. May Almighty Allah accept all your efforts. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. We also thank you for your presence. We are graced with your presence today and your time, sir. But we are not finished yet with you, as we are going to have question and answer sessions. We already have a couple of questions coming from the audience that we wish you will be able to answer and satisfy to their ends. The very first one, sir, coming from Julfi. Her questions is, can you give us insight how the SMEs promote the product abroad in this very era, you know, in the pandemic era? How convincing it is, according to you, the future of SMEs for them to sustain their business?
Yeah, it's a good question. Let me explain to you, as I mentioned a little while ago. The SMEs are basically the live wire of any economy of the country. And if you really look at Indonesia, Indonesia 4.0. It has so much. It has so much plan to get to the Indonesia to a global platform. So in having said that, when it comes to SMEs, the SMEs are the ones who can really maneuver things in a short period of time, unlike the large organizations. I don't know which industry that particular question came from. Any industry that you are in, you have so much opportunities out there. I took just an example as Middle East for you all to pitch. Now, SMEs having a lot of opportunities, but SMEs, this is the time for you to change yourself, getting ready yourself. Look at the SWOT, look at your capabilities, how best you can stand out. If you are manufacturing clothing, you have to ask basic question, why a customer should buy your product over to the competitor's product. Can I improve it? Can I bring something innovative? Or even in packaging, can I bring some innovative packaging? For an example, I have seen in the past people who are selling vegetables to the supermarkets. Now they have gone with value addition. They have gone with the packaging, a nice, clear packaging, and they have the premium prices now. So the same SME who was selling, say for an example, 100 rupiah, now they are selling it at 120 rupiah. Of course, they're getting a premium price, plus they're having a better margin as well. So SMEs have to think out of the box. Don't be rigid, thinking that, no, I cannot change, I will not change. No, that's the wrong mentality. If you don't change, the customers will change you. Therefore, look for opportunities where you can cater, number one. Number two, whether you can improve your product offer, and also whether you can tap into the untapped market where you can expand it. Easy way is the global platform. Global platform is easy. That's what I said. If you can supply to Dubai market, Dubai, one of the platforms already, that's the place where all these big giants, the buying offices have been situated in Dubai. They will spot your product. They will get back to you and say that, hey, I have a buyer in the UK or even other place, even Argentina. Can you supply? So you'll be surprised already, and basically how you approach. So that's the reason I took UAE as an example for you all to start working on UAE the next couple of months. I'm sure you'll be successful.
Inshallah. But also to follow up with your answer, sir, to these questions, how about SMEs that has had their business for quite a while and is currently heavily impacted by the pandemic, and there is almost no way for them to change their way of their doing business? For instance, like tourism industries are heavily impacted because no one can travel. Also, like travel agencies. What's your suggestions toward people who are doing this kind of business that naturally it's very hard for them to adapt unless to wait?
Yeah, it's a good question again. The heavily impacted industries, especially the travel and tourism. We know that the foreign tourists are not arriving, and even local tourism is being affected as well. So the best thing that they can do is they should find alternative ways of generating their income. One important thing that they can do is how best they can diversify their businesses, even a small scale. So diversification is one of the options they have. Number two is the online platforms are still one of the sectors in the world was really making money is the e-commerce platform. Amazon made thumping money during this period. Number two, Tata Group in India made a lot of money, right? And Mukesh Ambani, I'll mention his name, one of the conglomerate in India, he made his money through his retail channel. So my recommendation is for them to look for opportunities globally. If you can't find it, look at it in a global perspective. I know tourism is impacted, travel is impacted, but what can they offer it to the global market? It's a good question.
Okay, so mindset is very important in this regard, you said.
Mindset.
But also, once a business unit decided to change, let's say they would like to diversify the business globally, or probably change and trying to reach out onto a new market, what's the perspective for them to eventually go back and perform their traditional or old business once the pandemic is over? Do you think there are still opportunities for us to regain the initial states prior COVID?
Yes, of course, for sure, because they have been in that business for many years. For an example, so that's their core business in the past, right? Now they are looking for new opportunities.
Yeah.
Who knows? They might leave the old business completely, and they will stick to the new opportunity. As the Chinese proverb, when there's a crisis, there's opportunity. So for sure, they will find it. They may thinking, oh, why we wasted our time in the past where they had other opportunities. So let us look at it positively. I'm sure. Just get out of this thinking of no, I'm going to stick to my job, my way of doing things. No. It's a different, as I said, it's mindset. You have to change.
Mindset. Okay, it's a very important outtakes that I wish the audience could get. The second question, sir, coming from Muhammad Kowi. His question is, how could citizen that resides in a remote area adopt the technology in increasing economic potentials while we know they have a very limited access to our technology infrastructures? And somehow, Kowi said that he had been there for a couple of months and they're very far away from a very established infrastructure that would accommodate them to do or utilize the current technology that we have. What's your advice for this kind of situations?
It's a technological thing, so it's something beyond our control, though, because the government has to provide the infrastructure for them to sort of get their work done. So the only option that they have is to move to a place where they can access to internet or the Wi-Fi, because it is a must. Wi-Fi is a must, or the connectivity is a must with the rest of the world. So there's no solution for that unless otherwise you should move to a place where you can communicate with the rest of the world.
Yeah, again, that's also involved the change mindset, as you said to us before.
Absolutely.
And in this regard, change your locations.
Absolutely. Because I did a couple of webinars in this period of time, and even the core of the whole thing is this pandemic has given us an opportunity, a great opportunity for us to take a pause and think out of the box. So that's something is a great opportunity for us to see how best we can do the businesses in a new way, right? And so I think we have to take it positively.
Okay, now sir, we have another questions coming, and this time we're hoping for a more interactive chit-chat sessions. We would like to invite Pak Ibrahim Abdul Kadi to join with us and ask directly the questions to you. Is Pak Ibrahim with us?
Yes, Ibrahim.
A very good morning, Pak Ibrahim. Selamat pagi, Pak Ibrahim.
Hi, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning,
Okay.
Ibrahim.
Thank
How are
you.
you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Pak Ibrahim di
Oke,
mana nih?
saya di Pekalongan, Pak.
Di Pekalongan,
Di
oke.
Pekalongan, Jawa
Mr.
Tengah.
Ibrahim is
Ya.
currently in Central Java, ya. Pak
Okay.
Ibrahim, what would you like to ask to Mr. I'm sorry, Mr. Irshad?
Irsyad. Ya, oke. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Subahul khair, Mr. Irsyad.
Yeah.
Kif halak?
Alhamdulillah, tamam.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, I have a question for you. I hope it's not very difficult question. Okay. I'm doing the textiles, but made of handloom. So this is traditional.
Yep.
And also sustainable. Besides, I also made a handicraft. It is especially for home decors. And all are made of natural materials, natural fibers from natural plants. Okay. My simple question is there still an opportunity for me, especially, for my friends who make handicrafts to penetrate the UAE market? And how simply it is, and could you please give me solution or information how to realize our dream of penetrating UAE's market? Thank you.
Correct. Thank you.
Your advice.
Thanks for your question, Ibrahim. Yeah, let me get back to what I said previously. So the UAE market is basically it's a matured market. You have so many competitors around. A lot of buying offices are there from around the world. So it's a good opportunity for you. There's no need to worry about that. But the approach is so important for you. First of all, you have to make sure that your products are in good, of course, the packaging presentable, it's rightly priced, all these elements are met. Second thing is, what you should be doing is the market research. As I mentioned to you previously, I gave you a couple of websites, the e-commerce platforms. Just go once again and take a look at whether you have handlooms or your area of businesses listed there. If it is not, don't worry. What you can do is you can contact the consulate of UAE in Indonesia and find out from the commercial attach the companies which are involved in handlooms and your type of industry in the UAE. They'll give you the list, and based on the list, what you can do, you can directly contact them, and so that it will be easy for you to be in touch with them directly, and you can send them the samples and you can take it from there. So that's the best approach for you. First approach is to looking at all the websites I gave you. After this, recording will be there on YouTube, so you can go back and play it and see. Number two is you contact the UAE embassy in Jakarta, of course, and talk to them and ask the commercial attach. They have all the information of the companies which are handling your area of products. And then that you can directly send them an email, call them, find out whether they're interested, then they can start exchanging information. Hope I answered your question.
Okay.
How do you find the
excuse me,
answer,
just
sir?
one. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. And it's informed me well. Just give me a minute again. I just want to show you one of my samples. Like,
Sure. Go ahead, sir.
excuse me.
I like to touch and feel, Ibrahim.
Maybe not now. Okay, this is his products. Ini, Pak.
Mashallah,
This is one of
beautiful.
This is one of the products. I make a sarong. This is made by handloom.
Very nice.
This is in the hijab words. Yeah, like alif batas.
I'm sure it will work. I'm sure it will work, Ibrahim. So what you could do immediately after this session today or tomorrow, you can contact. You look at the websites I gave you and see whether they have the handloom section. Number one. If not, you contact the embassy, local embassy, and then they'll give you the information.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. All the very best, Ibrahim. Thank you.
We thank you very much,
Assalamualaikum.
Pak Ibrahim. Waalaikumsalam for your participation. Okay, hope that answers, and hope everybody also find it really insightful. We actually still have a couple of other questions, but we have, unfortunately, a very limited amount of time, so we have to bid farewell to you, Mr. Kadir, for your participations and your very insightful presentation. Thank you very much. Shukran.
Thank you once again. Thanks to all participants as well as the organizers. Thanks, Reddy. Thank you.
Pleasure is ours. All right. Now we're going to say hi to our next speakers. Again, I would like to encourage the audience to participate interactively. You can throw your question on your chat box with the current following formats. Write down your name, underscore, the speaker's names, underscore, your questions. Also, we have 10 prizes or souvenirs that we will give out to 10 best questions that given out in today's sessions. All right, now allow me to say hi and introduce you to our next speakers. Again, he is from the hospitality industry. He is really experienced. He has almost 20 years of experience in the hospitality industry, particularly in the hotel industry. Let's welcome from Accor Group. This is Pak Adi Satria. Assalamualaikum, selamat pagi Pak Adi Satria.
Selamat pagi, waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
How are you doing, sir?
Good.
Good, alhamdulillah.
Can you hear us now properly? Sounds good?
Yes, you sounds perfect now. So, Pak Adi will talk about tourism business recovery after economic crisis. And if I'm not mistaken, from your LinkedIn profile, you are already working along with Accor for almost 12 years. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Well, that's a very
I joined Accor back in 2019, in February.
Okay.
Before that, I was in Sydney for a long time.
Oh, wow. Okay. So Accor, ladies and gentlemen, is a very large hotel group. It's branch all over the world, yeah? Including Indonesia, it has hundreds of branches of hotels. My question for you that you can answer briefly, how is the current hotel industries amidst the pandemic in general? How is it doing right now?
Look, you know, it's doing tough, you know. As you know, every tourism business, as the previous speaker mentioned, not only the hotel business, but also every tourism business, tourism attractions, airlines business, tour agents, travel agents. It's doing very tough because you know, the restriction, the border closure, that's impacting the entire industry, right? The travel business that people normally take it as it is, you know. It's become a lifestyle. In fact, before even to the degree of the Umrah pilgrim or the Hajj pilgrim, it's taking the hit. So it's right through across the I would say travel industry. This pandemic has caused a big havoc right through.
Right. So I think it's going to be very interesting, ladies and gentlemen, to see how tourism business and hotel, in this case, adapting amidst the pandemic. So we'll take a listen to your presentation, sir. The time is yours.
Sure. Thank you, Ernie. So we can start. Maybe quickly we can go to the next slide. Look, on this presentation, I mean, I could give you a few key pointers here on the characteristics of how are we adapting to the different situation and different market that normally happens, you know, because every country it depends also on the situational between the different government that would happen, different regulations that would happen in that country, and certainly it's impacted right across the board, right? So this is the range of our brand. We have different type of brand that we have. If you go to the next slide here, we operate globally. It's an international chain. It's a public listed company that we have right through across the board, and this is impacting not only certain area of our business or geographic, but it's right through, right? different with the different type of pandemic situation that we have at this stage, be in Asia Pacific, be in Europe, be in South America, be in Africa. So it's right through. Definitely, it's a big impact here. If you go on the next slide. In Indonesia alone, we operate in multiple different provinces right through, and that's definitely cause you know, a different level of impact towards the business, the employee, or what we call our artist or our team member, right through the different level. We have about 14,000, I would say, employees in Indonesia that work with us together, and we had to adapt, like the previous speaker mentioned. Adaptability is very important on the business level that we had to change. So we have been cooperating a lot in terms of our level of business, on how could we balance the level of top line business that we could get in order to simply be able to pay the salary and wages of our team member in the hotel, to just pay the basic, I would say, costs or overhead that would impact to our business. If we go to the next slide, please. So today, for us, the focus is it's all about domestic market, right? There's no more international market at this stage. How could we adapt to the different level of smaller size of MICE business with the health protocol? So we're working extremely closely with many of the government bodies, Ministry of Tourism and Economic Creative in Indonesia, Ministry of Health, the local government agency right through. So that's key crucial part on adapting to the level of the business, or what we need to assure our guests in order for them to be able to feel secure coming back to our obviously hotel, staying in the hotel again, and that level of assurance is definitely important. If we go to the next slide. So this is what we needed for recovery. There is we feel there is a safety level for business unit we need to have. There is a different type of level of service that we need to adapt. It needs to be a connectivity investment that we need to have in each of our assets or hotels, personalized level of service, where we're continue to work a cooperative, I would say, business unit to be able to overcome this pandemic situation. Go to the next slide. So one of the initiative, as I mentioned earlier, it's the cleanliness or prevention level you see here. So globally, Accor launched what we call All Safe label. So this is a level of assurance that we give to our guests, our customer, to be able to feel secure when they come back to the hotel. Now, we do not only do this ourselves, but we work in collaboration with Bureau Veritas. It's very important that we actually do this with a third-party audit that consistently check the implementation of this label in all of our hotels throughout the world. To go to the next slide. Now, what it's All Safe all about, right? So it's split into two. Basically, there are 16 different actions, right? Half the action, it's all about our customer, our guests, and the other half is about our team member, or what we call artist member in our hotels, right? Because it takes always not only the guests who actually coming to the hotel that we need to protect, but at the same time, it's the employee or the artist member that comes to work every day to our hotel. we also need to protect them, right? So we create a new role in our hotel. One of the key focus here is what we call an all-safe officer. It's monitoring all of the different implementation, different level of health protocol that we are doing in the hotel in order for us to be able to get reassurance that all of the points, all of the implementation that we committed, it's being adhered to at different level of hotel that we have throughout the world. Here in Indonesia, we have implemented this program in cooperation with the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Tourism and Economic Creative, with the IndoCare and CHSE protocol program, and we come up with a very rigid level of certification. So there's 16 points of them, as you can see on the screen, from giving sanitizer, giving masks, social distancing, level of protection in terms of giving test tracking and tracing to all of our guests and also our artist member. And at the same time, we also work with AXA here as a insurance or health also provider, where it could give we give a number for all of our guests that is staying in the hotel. Should they have symptoms, they can talk to all of the consultant that is available 24/7, and we're working very closely with all the local authorities in each of the province also. And they come to our hotels. Also, we invite them to do an audit, independent audit, of course, to ensure the implementation of all of these key points being adhered to accordingly. So we take this really seriously because, as what I said earlier, this is part of changing the business process because to earn our customer and guests and the trust of our loyal members is extremely important for us in order to get them back to come to stay in our hotels. Next slide. So few of the offers also we tailor it according to each of our guest needs. A flexible offer so they can modify, cancel without any hesitation, any charge, that just in case if they get tested when they come to the hotel, or they get sick, or they get problems anywhere when they plan their stay in the hotel, it's very flexible. They can continue to change the date. Easy to use hotel vouchers, instant benefits and rewards, and in terms of the delivery of the service also, during the PSBB time here in many area in Indonesia, we provide a home delivery or home service to all of our restaurant offering that we would have. One of the offer, we did that together last time during Ramadan time. I was at that time during the beginning of the pandemic of the COVID-19, where everyone has to stay in their home. Next slide. We also have a lot of offers to tailor for our domestic customer. Muslim-friendly accommodation facility, definitely it's essential for us here, being a large-scale domestic audience. A food and beverage offering that tailor that needs, an open-air hotels like our hotel in Ciawi. So people can have more security there, relax, and at the end of the day, assure that their staycation with their family it's stay and safe. Next slide. Meetings, again, we offer now also an open-air meeting facility. So it's not only inside the room. If needs to be inside the room, will be a limited. Obviously number of packs as per government regulation. Now, for example, in Jakarta is 50% from our total capacity, but at the same time, some places or some open resort area, we have this facility also available that can be used by many of our government clients or corporate clients that would like to have a meetings in their hotel. On top of also having a very good connectivity in order to have also online and offline platform model for the different meetings. Next slide. So here, as I mentioned to you earlier, Indonesia Care cooperation with the Ministry of Tourism and Economic Creative on the CHSE certification here in Indonesia. It's crucial. We also cooperate with the different level of certification in Singapore with the Singapore Tourism Board also at the same time. So in many countries where we operate, we do not only think global, but it's local. So it's global yet adhering all of the local regulation that we need to adhere to. We also work with Ministry of Trade recently to be able to facilitate the small UMKM industry, where we also able or allowing our hotel to take goods or provides goods that it's been produced by the local UMKM in many other cities. We started already in Semarang recently, in Yogyakarta. Also, we work closely with the local industry in there to be able for them to provide goods, foods in that can be used for the coffee break, for the lunch or dinner within our hotels. Next slide. So loyalty program, it's very important. We've done this all together with our core Live Limitless members also that we have in Indonesia. So every offer that we have made available for public, it definitely also have certain level of personalization for our 2 million members here in Indonesia. Next slide. Next slide. Yes. So this is just a little bit of an update on our loyalty membership. You know, loyalty goes both ways, obviously. So specifically in Indonesia, we also have cooperation with the local, I would say, bank here, CIMB Niaga, where we provide a majority degree of CRM, different offer platform, where all of our members can get their points, track their points, where they say, or burn their points from past days that they are unable to use due to the COVID pandemic. Now they can also use that in our hotels. Next slide. So we've done many platforms. This is some of the example that we've done with all of our members, online meetings with them, meet and greets with the top management or with the different hotels. We send home delivery offerings from our restaurant and bar that is available throughout the countries to our members. So this is just a different level of, I would say, business model that we adapt during this pandemic in order to continue to survive in this tough environment. Next slide. Next slide. Yes. Okay. So I suppose that's in terms of the different slides or different presentation that I could share with you on what we're doing. But I definitely agree with what the previous speaker mentioned, that the mindset is definitely very important. We need to continually adapt with what's happening in the market. The different if we do not adapt, then we will not be able to survive in this tough pandemic situation. And we foresee this is not only going to last the next few more months, but I think now it's start to impact different level of aspect of economic also. So you know, it may only level up by the end of next year or early 2022. So the market is tough. Definitely those flexibility and adaptability and agility is needed. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Mr. Adi, for your very comprehensive presentations. And I've seen you've done lots of changes and adaptations in the hotel amidst the pandemic. I get one question before we proceed, before I read out other questions coming from the audience. Regarding to your room occupancies currently in this very situations, it is currently predominated by which kind of segments? People who do staycations or MICE or domestic visitors?
Okay, so it differs on which hotel. We collaborated a lot with the government. So one of the segment that we tweak, it's a segment what we call a quarantine segment. So it's not a positive people or anything. It's, you know, because of the government regulation, you know, when people wants to come back to Indonesia or to Singapore or few other countries that we had, they need to be quarantined, right? For a few days to have a look at it, whether they contracted the virus or not. So we participate on that with the nation. The idea here is basically on top of supporting the government, but we are also able to get a little bit of revenue to be able to pay the salary of our staff, which is important. So we adapt on the situation. So on that kind of hotel, have a good level of occupancy, as you asked, they're running a 70-80% occupancy, of course, you know, because that's government mandatory program. But some hotel that have staycation, like our hotel in Bandung, on certain period, for example, yes, of course, they're like this coming long weekend, they're enjoying a good level of occupancy. But on the normal period, without any staycation or domestic business, then you know, or any government business, then they're, you know, we had to close few of them back in a few months ago, simply because there is no business.
Okay. Back to your point about the governmentary quarantine that is using your facilities, sir. How did you manage to eventually secure this kind of deal with the government? Did you firstly, you know, reach out to them about, you know, your level of sanitation that you have adapted during the pandemic, or how did you manage to get that deal?
Look, we have been working with the government, I mean, for some times now, not only during the pandemic, but since, for example, our cooperation with Ministry of Tourism and Economic Creative started into 2011 to 2012, right? So we've done many cooperation, and at that time, you know, there was a discussion, and at the same time we were rolling out this All Safe safety and protection for all of our team. So we present to them, and they do a full audit, obviously, to our hotels. And at the end of the day, they were satisfied that this would you know, mitigate any risk that would happen in our hotel, because the least that we want is to have a cluster hotels. Luckily, until now, Alhamdulillah, thank God, this not happened, right? So we have a very rigid and rigorous process that we had to follow, so we did that with them few months. That was a project that's ended now. It was a few months ago, and all of our team, we had to quarantine. We had to do a full test. There is no comorbid situation that would happen for all of our team that is doing or undergoing this program with the government. And Alhamdulillah, when the program finished, we had 0 cases in our hotel. So this is, you know, obviously we try, and at the same time with the help of Allah, so everything runs well, you know. So this is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure the government was convinced to use your facilities for the quarantine service also because of your all safe labels, which also related to this following questions coming from the audience. Sri Eka Astuningsih, she would like to ask about your all safe label commitments. You know, your Accor group, you know, it's worldwide, right? It's everywhere. She's asking, how do you manage to apply the standards of the same all safe things, you know, because every country has their own standards of sanitations and hygienes, and what are the what slows you down? You know, what slows you down regarding to this all safe level commitments applications in every hotels all around the world?
So to answer that question, we've started the process because it happened in China first at that time, and all of our hotel in China got it. That was in early February, just going through the Chinese New Year. So we quickly learned the scale of the situation in there. We adapt ourselves very quickly in that, and we see how could we mitigate the risk, because we feel already it is going to get big by early March. So then we quickly roll that one out, and we use different level of standards that we took from different countries. So we're doing a what we call, instead of a top-down approach, a bottom-up approach. So we had a survey. We cooperate with different level of government bodies throughout the world, and we come up with that 16 key points. It's not only about the guest that is coming to stay in our hotel, but it's also about the artist member or the team member that's gonna serve that clients, right? So we're protecting two sides of the angle or the equation here. We quickly did that, and we roll it out throughout the country. At the same time, we continue to work with the local government in each of the different countries. Should we need to tailor-make different requirement that each of the country needed. So we did a bottom-up approach, and then after that we globalize it, what we call global but local, and we continue to work very closely with the different government bodies, health authorities, goes down to the student level here in Indonesia, so not at the province only, and we continue to ask them what other things we can do, we need to improve. We ask them to not only Bureau Veritas to audit our hotel at international level, but the local government authorities also audit our hotels. So that's how we did it. So two-prong approach, bottom out, top down, and we continue seek different inputs from the government and the customer.
So the all safe label commitment is somehow more or less the same, but it's also different to the in accordance to the local policies, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so let's go to another questions from Dudi Augusta. But before that, let's have an interactive question first. We have Bambang Irawan that would like to have a chit chat with you, sir.
Sure.
Let me say hi to Pak Bambang. Halo Pak Bambang.
Halo.
Selamat pagi
Halo Pak Bambang.
Ya, suara saya kedengaran, Pak?
Terdengar.
Kedengaran, Pak.
Pak Bambang di mana nih?
Oke. Dari kota Pekanbaru, Pak.
Wah, Pekanbaru. Baik, Pekanbaru. Silakan
Ya.
Pak, pertanyaannya apa untuk Pak Adi?
Iya, ini saya ingin tanya, Pak. Ini dalam menjalankan apa? Bagaimana strategi kita, bagaimana strategi yang harus kita terapkan dalam menjalankan gaya hidup modern. Sekarang ini kan era global gitu kan. Gaya hidup modern dengan memilih makanan-makanan halal, namun kita tidak terjebak dalam perangkap yang haram gitu. Nah, apa hukumnya jika kita tidak sengaja mengkonsumsi makanan haram dalam gaya hidup kita ini, gitu, gaya hidup halal kita ini? Begitu saja, Pak. Terima kasih.
Okay, probably Pak Adi could answer this question in regards how Accor adapt to this kind of situation. You know, how you provide and ensure halal food to the Muslim customers.
So for us, we're operating in different, as you can see, level of the operation Accor has is worldwide. So we definitely have different regulation of requirements that we follow based on the authority, local authorities, in terms of providing the different food and beverage offering in our hotels. Here in Indonesia, we follow the guidance from MUI, definitely, Majelis Ulama Indonesia, on the level of requirements that they need. We also have a hotel in Saudi Arabia, for example, or in UAE, or in different cities in Asia or in Australia that would have a different, I would say, regulation. Having said that, the rules in terms of providing a Muslim-friendly hotel, it's still the same, right, throughout the world. So those countries, in fact, in the Western world, they learn from the requirement that we have here in Indonesia also. There's a benchmarking that we do normally between the countries. We share some best practices. So if, for example, our hotel in Australia or in Europe or anywhere part of the world would like to know how we implement the Muslim-friendly requirement for our hotels, they normally come to us or ask us or ask some of our hotels in Middle East, because the difference between halal and haram is very clear in Islam, right?
Yeah.
So that's for us is very clear, and we do not go to gray area on that. So we have different kitchen if needed. In some of those world, we have different kitchen that provides different things. You know, we don't mix the kitchen facilities or the fork or the knife to cut different meats, and this is what we are doing in terms of that. Rules and regulation that we need to follow, and you know, every hotel of us in different world, we follow those regulation very clearly.
Oke, Pak Adi mungkin bisa dibantu gambarkan untuk juga membantu menjawab pertanyaan Pak Bambang ini. Kira-kira kalau misalnya kita mau memastikan ketika kita masuk restoran gitu ya, mau makan gitu Pak, ada nggak sih tipsnya untuk kita bisa mengetahui at a glance kalau itu sudah certified oleh MUI halal gitu loh Pak? Adakah seperti simbol-simbol misalnya atau logo-logo yang memang harus tertera di restoran tersebut agar konsumer muslim ini bisa ensure that it is 100% halal?
Yeah. So in Indonesia, for example, our meat supplier is definitely certified. I'm just giving you an example here. It's certified from MUI. We do not buy from a non-certified supplier. This is in Indonesia. In different countries, obviously, it has different certification bodies, and we have different offerings. For example, in the buffet, you can definitely see we actually separate those different offerings if needed. Or some hotel really don't offer the different offering other than the halal offering. This is different where you are, in which market. Obviously, in Bali, due to the international market, I'm talking about now pre-pandemic, before the pandemic happens, they would have the different offerings also. But we also in the likes of area that is do not need that, we just have one offering. It's just the halal offering. So that's, you can really see there is a markings, the buffet, but we do not have buffet anymore now anyway, right? So it's due to the pandemic situation, we're limiting those type of cold offerings and things like that. So when you order the food, you can even ask our waiter, for example, and they will tell you. So that's very, very clear on that. And definitely we have, as part of our license, the certification on that from the licensing perspective.
Is it mandatory for you to put a logo of halal if it is certified halal, sir, in the restaurants?
We do not put it. We do not put it at this stage, but because there is no standards for that at the moment. But you know, that something can be added afterwards if it's become an urgency or as part of the regulation. Our menu is very, very simple, you know. Especially now, our menu it's driven digitally also. To the pandemic, we hardly make any more menu book.
Baik, jadi mungkin yang bisa Bambang Irawan untuk mencegah mengkonsumsi yang non halal Pak, bisa secara proaktif bertanya mungkin ya kepada pihak restorannya apakah sudah sertifikasi dari MUI, apakah makan menu-menunya halal, dan apakah fasilitasnya sudah dipisah sesuai dengan standar yang dijelaskan tadi. Apakah ada tambahan dari Pak Bambang?
Cukup Pak.
Cukup, kami ucapkan terima kasih Pak Bambang di Pekanbaru. Selamat pagi. Okay, our next question, this probably will be the last questions for today for you, sir. Coming from Dudi Agusta. His question is there an international standard of specific or categorized product that can ensure and warrant to enter an Islamic market or countries? Probably you can answer this on the perspective of the hospitality or hotel industry, sir.
Can you repeat that, Pak Randy? Just the statement.
Yeah, is there an international standard of specific or categorized product that can ensure that that particular product to enter an Islamic market or countries? Probably on your experience on how expanding hotel industries in Middle East, for instance.
Yeah. So for us, definitely that global, with a global brand that we have, but having to understand the local market needs is very, very important. Just give you an example. The level of habit, for example, for our customer in Middle East or in Saudi Arabia versus our customer in Indonesia is already different. The type of food is already different, right? So we definitely come in with a standard that we have, you know, globally, but you know, we always think locally on what the customer needs in that particular market, right? The big brand pillars, it will always be there, and that's actually now it's not really so much standardized as it is, but you know, the vision of those brands and how do we translate it into what those market needs. So that's how we do it. So local is our terms, global but local, and we need to make sure what works in the market works. Otherwise, it will not be commercially sustainable to operate on the market that we do not understand and we do not adapt locally to that.
Probably you can also share to us how, because it, you know, when you were entering a new markets, you got to do a research on how that market goes and what they like, what they don't, what they eat. How do you do this research?
Yeah. So for us, we have our research, I would say, division that works on this, and try to have a look at what try to stay ahead, what the customer needs. We take a lot of feedback from the different local markets. The good thing is we have this experience. We work on the different market for a long time now, not only in singular market. We operate in with different level of local talents. That's why we also grow local talents. For example, here in Indonesia, 85% of our general manager is Indonesian. They do not only operate the small hotel, they do operate the big hotels. So those local talents is continuously giving feedback, information on what the market needs for us to be able to stay ahead on the curve, right? So you know, and we have offices throughout this market. So we do not operate Indonesia from Singapore. We operate here Indonesia from Indonesia, for example. We have our offices here in Indonesia. And it's not only a showcasing office. We have development team in this office. We have our technical team in this office. Our sales marketing run from this office. Our talent and culture team runs from these offices. So these are the way we operate, I would say, our business to stay ahead, keep agile with the market and what's happening in those market, and at the end of the day, we can adapt what we said local, so global and local. So we really mean that when we say that.
So if I may summarize, the answer to Pak Dudi's question is that the two key takeouts are research and local talents. Those are the main two things that you need to ensure you have, sir, Pak Dudi, if you wish to expand your products globally and also consider globally, but also have localized. We thank you for your time, Pak Adi, for being with us and your very comprehensive presentations. Hope you have a good day.
Thank you, Pak Randy. I have this one question here being sent to me privately from Ibu Shifa Nakira. If I may read this question.
Yes, if you can answer it briefly, sir, because we have a very limited amount of times.
Sure. Question was before pandemic, Alhamdulillah, me and my family had a couple times staying at the hotel. Lately, we tried to stay at the hotel. We found the COVID standard for 4-star above and 3-star below so different. Can you be able to explain the expectation to the customer? So for us, simply with our group, we have the All Safe label. and this implemented right across all of our brand from luxury to the economy segment. And that's the standard benchmark that we would have. That's very, very clear for our group. Now, I'm not sure which hotel you've stayed, but with us, the All Safe standard, whatever we said on that 16 points commitment, that's actually standardized right across the brands.
Okay.
Thank
Probably
you.
you can also explain, sir, to add on that point, is the government put any, specific standard for the hotel industries now that they need to meet these days?
Yes, for the government standard, there is a standard that or guidance that come through a Ministry of Tourism and Economic Creative. They call it CHSE, Cleanliness, Health, Safety standard that they have, and these are similar, in fact, to all of our standard that we have, and that's regulated by also by Ministry of Health. So you can read there's the big per man that they have on that, but yeah.
Okay, so
Maybe
I would
not for
highly
this forum.
encourage whoever asked the question is to check CHES on Google and see the minister policies regarding to COVID safety rules for hotels, and check whether that standards meets and in any hotel that you are currently staying in. Thank you very much, Pak Adi, for your very time. You have a good morning and good luck.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Now we are going to introduce you our last but not the very least, of course, presenters. He is known also as the Halal Professor. He's very well known, ladies and gentlemen. He is a scientist who have earned numerous awards thanks to his dedication to halal science. His name is Professor Irwandi. Please welcome. Assalamualaikum, Pak Irwandi.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah.
How are you doing, sir? Sehat?
Alhamdulillah, yeah, very, very good.
Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Irwandi on 2018 was granted King Faisal International Award. This is also known as the Nobel Prize of the Islamic world. So this is such a great honor for us to have you with us here, sir, on your very valuable times. My very first question to you that you can probably also answer briefly. Do you think the halal lifestyle can revive the current economic crisis?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, we believe that during the pandemic, we are facing not only the health crisis, but also the economic crisis. And this is the time for halal industry to raise, I think, and then everyone need to be, to get involved, and then we take part in any role that we can play. Yes.
Definitely. Okay, Professor Irwandi, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk about halal substitution for commercial food products. This is going to be really interesting. And once again, allow me to remind our audiences that you can participate interactively to ask questions to our speakers. You need to use this very opportunity wisely, because this is a really precious moment to have him with us today. Write down your question on the chat box with format your name _ the speaker's name and then your questions. To Professor Irwandi, the time is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. Topics that I would like to share with all the participants today is halal substitute for commercial food products. Again, my name is Irwandi Jaswir. I'm now currently attached to International Institute for Halal Research and Training, International Islamic University, Malaysia. As I mentioned by the moderator just now, in 2018, I received King Faisal International Prize, and this prize is given away to me because of my involvement for at least 20 years in developing of a new kind of a new branch of science we call halal science. So in the last 20 years, I did a lot of works, research works, especially to do things related to halal materials, halal authentications, and halal industry ecosystem. So this is what I have completed about 35 research projects. I published 200 published papers, international journals. I got 6 patents related to halal products, and 3 of them licensed and commercialized. Presented 250 papers. I wrote 35 book chapters, and the last one just published in US. And then I received 50 scientific awards, including one from former President Habibie, Almarhum Habibie Award 2013. And then my academic age index now 28. When we talk about halal, we are talking now about the shift from traditional to modern, traditional halal industry to modern one. In traditional, it include processed food and beverages, organic and non-organic ingredients, and also later on include logistic and services, for example, halal supply chains, and then also storage and shipping. And but nowadays we see that some sectors emerging in our industry, for example, cosmetics, personal cares, and healthcare products, and also tourism services, even though it might be affected quite severe recently due to pandemic COVID-19, and also modest fashion, whereby Indonesia may be the major leaders in industry. So halal nowadays is not only seen as a Sharia terminology, not only about the fiqh, usul fiqh, but it is more toward the quality of the product and services. If you see now, people, the consumers of halal product and services, not only Muslim, about 65% of the halal meat produced and exported by New Zealand is consumed by non-Muslim, exported to non-Muslim countries. So when we can produce halal product and services, which is of quality, so the market of the product is not only the number of the Muslim community, the number of the Muslim population, but also the entire mankind on earth. This is the global halal market 2017. It counted about 3.1 trillion, and you see here less than quarter comprised of food. But the major component of the global halal market basically are non-food. Here there is cosmetic, personal care, pharmaceuticals as well, and the rest is services, which include the tourism, halal supply chain, etc. This is the number of global Muslim spend for various sectors, and then we can see that this is all the potential that Indonesia should take the opportunity. Of course, during the pandemic, some of the sectors severely affected, some are moderately affected, and some are not so affected, even the trend still growing up. For example, for food and pharmaceutical, we can see that here that no matter the situation is, people still need food and pharmaceutical. But of course, for traveling, Islamic finance, it got very, very highest negative impact. And then this is how all of us need to collaborate to rebuild the industry. The trend now is halal goes digital. I just attended one launching ceremony in Malaysia, whereby in this country, one company that focusing on digital, they claim this is the biggest digital halal industry in the Asia. And then we see here that in 2018, this group managed to sponsor Manchester United. This is the richest sporting club in the world. Now with the value is 100 million US a year. So the trend nowadays is that people goes to digital, and then if we can build our SMEs, helping them to go digital as well, this is a good move and good initiative, I think. So halal is now seen as a business everywhere, and not only in the Muslim country, but also in non-Muslim country. In 2018, right after I received a award from Saudi Arabia, I was invited to South Korea. This is the Parliament House in Seoul, and I was invited to talk about halal meat and poultry. Okay, halal meat and poultry. Why? Because Korea knows that now Australia and New Zealand are major producers of halal meat, and they have the industry already. The only thing that they do not have is the halal sectors. So what should we do to halalize the products? 2 days later, I gave my talk in front of 300 students, MBA students, postgraduate students who are taking Muslim-friendly hospitality in Dong Ai University, located in Busan. And Dong Ai is the largest private university. Just imagine 2018, they already offered a program Muslim-friendly hospitality and tourism postgraduate level. So in Korea, there are 2,300 cosmetic companies. Let's imagine, yeah, it's very, very, very huge industry in Korea, and now they are urged and encouraged by the government to get into halal industry. And my institute, yeah, we are from time to time coming to Korea to help them, to educate them, to make their products become halal. This is one of the examples. Okay, so for today's topic, we'll be more focusing on today's topic. There are three main issues in halal products. This is, firstly, is raw materials, including food ingredients, including food substitute, and then processing and authentication. These three are the big issues in halal industry. As we know that in Islam, the concept of halal and tayyiban, it must be from A to Z, from source of origin till storage and distribution to the consumers, from the origin, for example, whether it is from animal or plant, and then if it is animal, whether it's slaughtered according to Islam or not, etc., etc. And then every step of this, every step of processing, ingredient, finished product, packaging, storage, transportation, there is possibility for the products to get contaminated with non-halal ingredients. So, for example, ingredients and additive, pigs and its byproducts, pork, lard, and gelatin. My background is food science and technology, and we know that in food industry there are 400, 500 types of food ingredients that are purposely added to the food during the processing. And some of them, even the quantity is very, very minimum, very, very small. Some of them are even in the ppm level. ppm means part per million, or 1 in 1 million parts. And also ppb, part per billion, that our instrument cannot detect them. It is a must for the industry, but our instrument cannot detect. So the halal authentication is one of the big issues. Enzyme, for example, or rennet, that is used for production of cheese. It is normally derived from the intestine of cows, and then whether the cow is slaughtered according to Islam or not. Gelatin, for example, 65% of gelatin are derived from pig. and then 20 or 30% of other gelatin that derived from halal animal, but not slaughtered according to Islam. So this is the potential critical areas, especially in the food ingredients. If we see this animal, this is a pig animal, almost all part of this animal have been commercially produced and then become food ingredients. So, and then just be careful that what we are taking and we consume, because sometimes we do not know that certain product contain those ingredients. For example, from the hair of the pig, we can extract cysteine. Cysteine is one of the amino acid that is used widely in the bakery industry. This is to develop the dough better. This is not a food, but halal. The placenta is very, very famous product as anti-aging. It is widely used in the cream and in the cosmetics, and then some of them are derived from non-halal animal placenta. So this is when we visited Hiroshima in Japan. So this one are food ingredient with halal critical points, but the potential are there in Indonesia. I got this fund to do this research here from KNEKS, Komite Nasional Keuangan Ekonomi Syariah, where we are asked to come up with a book to compile all the food ingredients with halal critical points. But we do not produce yet in Indonesia, but we have the potentials. Yeah? Among them are gelatin. This is number one because we have cows, we have a fish, we have kambing, yeah, good, yeah, because one study that we conducted is kambing etawa, yeah, from Jawa Barat, yeah, and then the gelatin nowadays Indonesia import 100,000 tons a year, yeah, for the halal gelatin, because gelatin in industry is considered a super ingredient. It is used not only in the food but also for cosmetics, for pharmaceuticals. Yeah, just pharmaceutical. For example, the hard capsule, 65% of the ingredient must be gelatin. Other than that are flavors, oleoresin, or seasonings, enzyme, food colorants, antioxidants, emulsifiers, anti-foaming agent, anti-caking agent, humectants, glazing agent. All these are things Indonesia still import a lot. So this is the potential for Indonesia if we really want to become the world halal hub, as mentioned by our Honorable Vice President recently. This is common critical ingredient pharmaceutical placenta, for example, from human and animals, because if we're looking at the Malaysian market, for example, if anything with the word placenta, the people will buy. It's very, very sellable words, yeah. But we have to get to know whether the placenta, the origin placenta is from halal or non-halal sources. Large, yeah, gelatin and collagen and emulsifiers. That's why myself and my team, we did a lot of research related to gelatin. At least more than 10 projects completed. One of them is in collaboration with Universitas Indonesia, and then one of them with King Saud University in Riyadh. We conducted research on camel gelatin project. I think this is a big opportunity for Indonesian entrepreneurs to develop a factory of the gelatin, because nowadays we do not have any. And this is what we conducted training there in Middle East. This is our pilot plant of gelatin and its derivative in Malaysia. Other than gelatin is enzyme. We produce bromelain to replace rennet, yeah? And then bromelain is taken from pineapple, and we do not disrupt pineapple industry, but we just take the DNA from pineapple, we transfer into E. coli, and then we produce our own bromelain, through genetic engineering. We do it in our laboratory, and now our cheese is already available in the supermarket in Malaysia. This is also Indonesia very rich with the marine resources, marine seaweed, for example. It contains antioxidant, anti-cancer, anti-diabetic, inflammatory, anti-obesity. So when Indonesia, the rules under Undang-Undang number 33, 2014, that all the product in Indonesia must be certified halal. So this is one of the things that can be relevant here. Our product now, this is anti-obesity. For example, this one is white adipose tissue for the mouse. And then this is when we feed with the Indonesian brown seaweed, and then the tissue, this tissue that is responsible for obesity remain the same size, while the control growing up. So this supplement now is already sold in Japan, and we got a big award for our finding for that. So another thing is authentication is very, very important as well, because we need to know whether the product is really halal or not, because this is the business of integrity. I think I just make it quickly for the authentication. We do, whether through PCR, using gas chromatography, etc., etc. This is our laboratory in Malaysia. We have all the latest high-end instrumentation for halal authentication. What we need is actually the halal ecosystem that all the stakeholders need to collaborate. This is what halal ecosystem in Malaysia, where about 21 government agency get involved directly to the halal industry. SME empowerment is also very important, because we have in Indonesia about more than 95% of the industry are comprising of SME. Japan also now very, very busy with the preparation for the Olympic. Supposed to be this year, and then postponed to next year. And then we can produce something for the Olympic food, ingredient, etc. This is a huge market actually. In China, in Taiwan also, everyone are talking about halal. I think that's it, or that's all that I have to share in very, very short time. I think I leave it back to the moderator. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Professor Irwandi, for your very comprehensive presentations. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to participate in a question and answer session with Professor Irwandi. And we already have one question, Professor, for you, and we would like to invite one of our audience to have an interaction session with you. We have Rizky Novianda from Aceh. Assalamualaikum, Rizky. We'll see if Rizky is with us already. Hello, Rizky. There he is. And he's actually a friend of mine, an old friend. Hai Rizky, apa kabar?
Halo Ren, Alhamdulillah baik.
Alhamdulillah baik. Profesor, ini ada Rizky dari Aceh. Rizky, silakan pertanyaan Ki, langsung disampaikan ke Profesor.
Baik, berbicara, halo Pak, Assalamualaikum. Jadi berbicara bisa halal lifestyle itu kan sangat sensitif bagi sebagian orang ya. Apalagi misalnya saya kasih contoh nih, salah satu provinsi di Indonesia itu Aceh, itu kan menerapkan wisata halal. Nah, berbicara wisata halal itu kan banyak beberapa sektor yang harus diterapkan, baik itu mungkin tempat wisata, terus penginapan, makanan, dan lain-lain sebagainya. Nah, salah satu contoh nih misalnya di sektor makanan. Nah, bagi wisatawan yang ingin berkunjung ke Aceh itu kan kadang-kadang ingin membeli makanan atau membawa pulang oleh-oleh ke daerah asalnya. Nah, sementara kan kadang-kadang UMKM di Aceh ini belum ada sertifikat halal atau mungkin logo halal yang ada di makanannya itu. Nah, yang menjadi pertanyaan saya itu bagaimana sih meyakinkan wisatawan itu untuk membeli produk dari UMKM sementara tidak ada logo halalnya. Seperti itu.
Gimana tuh Prof?
Terima kasih.
Problematikanya?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Yeah.
Rizky. UMKM perlu nggak sertifikasi dulu mereka?
Yeah, actually there are two different school of thought about UMKM, whether they need to get the proper halal certification, which is time consuming and also costly sometimes. And then another thing is whether they are allowed to do self-declare. And then of course we say limited for some extent. Yeah, I just this morning, just before this webinar, I attended another webinar and we talked the same question raised to me, whether is it any flexibility for small industry. Yes, so far the regulation in Indonesia is that everything must be halal certified. But as a consumers, we have to educate the consumers that the halal certification not only by logo. Yeah, if we can be convinced that the product is halal. For example, you buy from on the street here, the people selling the food, you know, pig goreng pisang, whatever. So how can they go for certification? Now the trend in industry is not only business to consumers, but now even there is a consumers to consumers. You ask somebody to cook for you, and then you can, the people, do they need the certification or not? Whereby tomorrow maybe they close the event. So these kind of things need to be discussed properly among the stakeholders. But for the time being, what we can do is that we need to educate people, educate the society that logo is not the only thing that we can rely on. If we know that the product is halal, it's fine for us to buy. For example, you go to restaurant, yes, some of the Padang restaurant is not halal certified, but we know that it is halal. And then of course at the same time we need to tell them also, because sometimes they might not know some of the ingredient, modern food ingredients are doubtful, yeah, something like this. Yeah. So my short answer to that is that ways we need to educate people. At the same time, we have to sit together for the stakeholders. Yeah, whether the self-declare. I think in the Undang-Undang Cipta Kerja, it is mentioned about this. Yeah. So, but it is not finalized yet because need to get the PP or peraturan pemerintah to elaborate the regulation.
Rizky, mau di follow up kah jawaban dari profesor tadi?
Boleh, tapi mau menambahkan sedikit lagi bisa?
Boleh, boleh, silakan.
Jadi gini, ada satu case waktu itu di akhir tahun 2019 itu ada wisatawan Malaysia yang berkunjung ke Aceh, terus mereka membeli satu produk namanya itu tape ubi. Nah itu diproduksi di Sare Aceh Besar. Dan pada saat itu setelah membeli, mereka memesan banyak, itu kalau nggak salah hampir 10 kardus lebih. Nah, ketika mereka mau pulang ke negara mereka, sementara mereka ingin jual lagi dan tidak ada logo halalnya. Akhirnya wisatawan itu menghubungi pihak produksinya dan katanya mereka nggak mau pesan lagi karena memang nggak ada logo halalnya dan produksinya itu nanti mereka juga nggak bakalan membeli lagi produk yang di produk KPUB itu. Nah itu bagaimana solusinya?
Yeah, the solution is, I think, yes, for export. Yeah, if you run business, I think you need to get the halal certification. There are 2 ways for SMEs now, and then also the initiative from the government. Yeah, now I got involved in one of the project to have SMEs, about 450 SMEs to get the certification. Who funded this? Because for them, sometimes they cannot afford to get the halal certification. What we can do is that we encourage private sectors, through the CSR fund, etc., and then to have this SME. If you are in this industry, you are what do you call this, activists and then willing to have the SMEs. I think this is there is an avenue to have them. We can collaborate with the private sectors, and then we have SMEs to get the certification. If they are really in that, in the business for export, etc. Yeah, so I think if we talk about the export and import, I think halal certification is the one of the key. Yeah.
Iya. Kalau boleh tahu ini bisnis yang tadi Rizky singgung, skalanya kecil, tengah, besar, Ki?
Itu dari bisnis UMKM, Rem. Sementara waktu itu kan awalnya cuman apa ya, nggak nyangka juga sih dari UMKM sendiri itu bisa dipesan sebanyak itu dari untuk wisatawannya seperti itu.
Yep. So in this case, they were not really experienced in doing exporting, sir. So I think that's probably why they're not ready with the certification yet. Oke, Rizky, mungkin ada follow up lagi atau cukup?
Cukup, Rem. Cukup.
Cukup. Oke, terima kasih banyak Rizky ya. Sehat selalu di Aceh. Assalamualaikum.
Iya, cukup. Ya.
Okay, it's really interesting that you also brought up, sir, how this very how these days, amidst the pandemic, there are lots of people who are currently running a self-owned business that also involve fruits. Yeah. It is basically consumers to consumers. Do you think it is important for the government to comes in this regard? I mean, if we take a look at another example from other countries, for example, like in the UK or in the USA, you can't just cook and sell. You can actually be reported if it's not qualified. You need to have certain, standard for your kitchens and how you cook things. Do you think this is also important in Indonesia in regards to ensure things to be halal? Because, we have, given the fact that we have a really big halal Muslim markets.
What we call this as a self-regulated, self-regulated. As long as, of course, we have some standard, even though it is self-regulated, but there must be some standard. But the point is that government need to provide something guideline, but not to make the life more difficult. How to ease the problem. So this is what normally the SME facing. They feel that all the regulation mostly is difficult for them to implement, and then those who are responsible in enforcement, for example, they're very, very harsh. They're no flexibility. The intention is not to help the SME. So this is the thing. This is more on the social approach. Everything needs to be done, social approach. And then we see that some country like Saudi Arabia, for the local market, normally they do just a self-regulated, unless you export product or they import the product. Only now they start to implement the proper halal certification. But for the past, in the past, they do not have any certification body, So, and then it works. So this is one of the things that we have to think together, because our SME is a million, in terms of numbers, millions. And then how we can help them. So this is the problem. Is the problem. And if we implement the normal halal certification, what LPPOM MUI or BPJPH implement now is not that easy for them. I have them from my experience when we have, and then they said, udah Pak, sudahlah dokumennya banyak banget kayak gitu. So it's not that easy for them to follow. So if we have to implement, it must be the very, very special criteria for them, as long as it is halal, because most of the halal, the SOP of halal auditing now, it combines halal and Taiban. More, I think, more toward the Taiban aspect. Taiban aspect, they ask for the GMP, etc., etc. So how the SME will meet the criteria? So it's not that easy. So we have to come up with a certain regulation for them. This is my opinion.
Would you care to elaborate more about the differences between halal and Taiban for our audience who probably are not quite familiar with these terms?
Halal is, the definition is clear, the regulation is clear, given by the Quran and Sunnah. This is a criteria for that. But apart from halal, normally when we do audit, we also look at the Taiban aspect. So far, the Taiban aspect during the auditing is more toward the cleanliness. Yeah, cleanliness also, and also the banned chemicals. It is halal, perhaps it's halal, but it is not allowed. Yeah, certain chemicals not allowed. So we ban that. But in general, Tayyiban means a quality. Yeah, in Quran it defined as a good, yeah, by wholesome. But it is more quality, I think. Yeah, but this one depends on the how advanced the country is. Yeah,
Right.
the more advanced the country, the standard is higher and higher. So more toward the quality, yeah, of products. So we have to change from time to time, the standard of the Taliban must be changed, yeah, from time to time. But at the moment, what I understand is we just take care of the cleanliness part of the factory,
aspects,
hygiene, etc. Yeah.
Okay, Prof, we have another question coming from the audience. This time is coming from Muhammad Kawi. His question is there any differences between Halal Science Center in Chulalongkorn University with the one that is currently being performed in IIUM, your university, sir?
Yeah, Halal Science Center, the differences, I think, yes, of course, there's a difference in the capacity, the focus, etc. Yeah, and then how the government see the importance of halal science. In general, is we do the same thing. We run the same thing here. We have the chemical labs, microbiological lab, and quality parameters, product development, etc. But still not enough, actually. Yeah, still not enough. Malaysia got few, big and small, and the Chulalongkorn also running. I think is among the best. I think, yeah, sample, even though it is located in non-Muslim country. But we need more, because if we see how important the halal food ingredient, halal substitute, yeah, we need to come up with alternative for non-halal ingredients, and only Halal Institute can do this. If we just rely to any lab, yeah, sometimes halal product is not the priority. So I always mention this when I am invited to give a talk in Indonesia, in the universities in Indonesia. Please, do something related to halal industry. Otherwise, Indonesia will lag behind. Yeah, we are very big countries, 230 million Muslim population. Our certification is among the top in the world, but in terms of halal industry, we are not the main players yet. Yeah, so we need to do something, and then research institute or R&D innovation is the key for the establishment and for the sustainability of the halal industry. Without the strong innovation in halal, strong R&D in halal research, then our industry will not be, sustainable in the long run.
Are you seeing that? Are you saying that being more focused for Indonesian government in building the Halal Science Center in Indonesia will also give more opportunity for us to contribute to the current economic crisis?
Yes, I think so, because many things that our researchers got the potentials. Unfortunately, they are now scattered. Not united. No blueprint for the halal research direction, etc. That can support the development of the halal industry in Indonesia. We had to come up with that. Yeah, it's kind of a future direction for them, what to do, and then which one Indonesia will focus. Of course, all the sectors in halal industry, we cannot focus in all sectors. We are where we are strong at. We are good in food, and then we focus on that. Pharmaceutical, for example, or cosmetics, or IT now. A lot of things related to IT now. A digital platform, digital or device authentication now through blockchains and blockchains, big data, and those things, Internet of Things. So we need to see first, and then which one we focus on that. Yes.
Okay, so maybe you can, if you are asked for a suggestions to the government, the government, Indonesian government in particular, in regards to developing Halal Science Center in Indonesia? What's your advice?
Yeah, if we want to become the world halal hub, yes, what our leaders' aspiration is, we have to develop halal ecosystem. Yeah, halal ecosystem. In halal ecosystem, we are not producing products, services, or ingredients, but also we develop human capital. We develop a research and development. R&D must be there. Human capital, government support, infrastructure. So this is the thing that need to be there, in the halal ecosystem. Then Indonesia can become the world halal hub. So in terms of research and development, one thing that this is something that we are lacking behind for quite some time. Just imagine, when we want to go to perform Hajj, for example, then the vaccine is questionable whether halal or not. Right. Our gelatin now, in our pharmaceutical, recently when the Undang-Undang number 33 was to be implemented, and the Ministry of Health start telling us that we are not ready yet, because a lot of things in the pharmaceuticals need substitute, halal substitute for some of the existing ingredients. So we have to, strengthen our research and development related to the halal industry. Yeah.
Okay. It's also interesting that you also brought up vaccine issues, as we are currently also very concerned about finding the right vaccine for the COVID-19 to cure the pandemic. How important it is, according to you, the halal aspect of using the vaccine for the COVID-19 virus?
Yeah, of course, as a Muslim, we go for the halal ones, we go for halal ones. So as much as we can do, we have to come out with a halal vaccine. But in Islam, there is a terminology, darura, darura. If it is only those who competent in this field, to tell us that if this is the only way for us to protect ourselves, protect our people, protect our children, and then it is not halal for the some period of time, and there be some limitation. Let's say we put 2-3 years, and then at the same time we develop. I think is still acceptable. This to me, for the fire. But of course, the term darura is also need to be verified. Need to be understood by everyone. That because some people it's so easy to say darura. Of our vaccine for Hajj and Umrah, for example, a non-halal one. Is from the long time ago. We used the same one if it's not halal. Only recently we got the halal one. So we have to work for that. Otherwise, the terminology darura, our understanding on darura is not valid. For us, it's just darura is kind of excuse. We have to work. We have to do something on that. Then we call darura.
Nonetheless, halal is priority, no matter what, sir.
We
thank you for your times, for being with us, and for your very valuable insights. And we wish you a very good luck and selalu sehat, Pak. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you. Terima kasih. Waalaikumsalam.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we also thank you for being with us until this very seconds. As I promised earlier, we now are going to announce who won the prize for 10 best questions. Here are the list. Take a look at your screen. These are the names. Congratulations to Julfi, Muhammad Kowi, Ibrahim Akadir, Sri Eka Astutiningsih, Bambang Irawan, Dudi Augusta, Shiva Nadira, Rizky Novianda, Peti, dan Erima Puspita Putri. Please contact ISEF admin at this following number, 0859-4736-0862, or check our Instagram page and follow at isef.id. Congratulations, guys. And these are the winners for the first 100 participants who joined our Zoom applications. Find your name here. We have 100 lucky participants who will also get our souvenirs from ISEF. If you find your name in this list, go contact our admin at this following number. Once again, 0859-4736-0862. 0832 or check our Instagram page at isef.id. Or you can also check the recording of this sessions on our YouTube and rewind and find your name once again, whether or not your name will be found there. And once again, we would like to thank you for your kindly participant and your valuable time with us today, and definitely to all speakers, Pak Sapta and all three respective speakers who have been joining with me. Thank you for your valuable insights. And don't forget to also updates all about ISEF on our social media pages. We are on Instagram at isef.id and also on YouTube, Twitter, and also Facebook at ISEF Indonesia. We have finally reached the end of our event in INHALIFE Business Forum Halal Lifestyle Solution for Global Economy Revival. We have heard lots of valuable insights. One thing that also important, I think, for a takeout keys for the audiences, change is also a good mindset for you, definitely also in this current uncertain times. So definitely we wish all you all the lucks to survive this pandemic all together. We thank you for sharing your time with us today. Allow me, Randy Wijaksana, on behalf of ISEF 2020 Committee to sign up and hope to meet you on another ISEF event. ISEF brings out halal in you. Wabillahi taufiq walhidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.